Caught up my wife in financial fraud and having an affair with a co-worker. I overthrew both of them in court. So, picture this, my wife decided to play a little game of infidelity while I was busy being the good husband. Classic, right? But here's the kicker, she thought she could sneakily stash away some cash before the big D. Well, not on my watch. I went full on Ice Age and froze every single account. Boom. Just like that, she was left with nothing but her own bad choices. Talk about a plot twist. Well, look who it is. Get ready for another mind-blowing tale straight from the cosmic corners of our space. Honestly, if you think you can outsmart this system, just wait. It's like a boomerang, it'll come right back and give you a little love tap. So, this genius thought they could stash away some cash and just waltz off into the sunset, right? Well, spoiler alert, you can't play hide and seek with money without it eventually saying, "Surprise! I'm back." So, gather round, folks. Today on our space, we're diving into the age-old wisdom of reaping what you sow. Yep, that's right. What goes around comes around, and trust me, it's a wild ride. Buckle up. So, picture this, my wife thought she could pull a fast one on me, cheating and trying to stash away some cash before the big D. Well, I wasn't about to let that fly. I hit the freeze button on every account like a boss and left her with a big fat zero. Talk about a plot twist, right? So, I've been hanging around this place for ages, just lurking in the shadows like a ninja, but never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be spilling my story here. Using a throwaway account here because, well, you know, some things are better left in the shadows. So, here's the scoop, my wife, who's 29 and might soon be my ex-wife, yikes. And I, a 30-year-old dude, have been riding this roller coaster of a relationship for a solid 8 years. So, there we were, 5 years into this wild ride called marriage, crafting a life that was nothing short of epic together. So there we were, living the dream in a cozy little house, cruising around in not one but two shiny cars, and let's not forget our furry sidekick, the dog. Life was pretty sweet, right? So there I was, a software engineer, living in my code-filled world, and then she swoops in like a marketing superhero, ready to sprinkle some creativity on my techie life. So, I was the one wrangling most of the bills, but she tossed in a few coins here and there to help out. Teamwork, right? So, picture this, almost a year ago, we packed our bags and jumped into a new city adventure. We thought, let's get comfy in our new digs before we dive into the whole baby-making thing. And here we are, just biding our time, waiting for the perfect moment to add a little chaos to our lives. At first glance, it was like a picture-perfect postcard, all shiny and flawless. Our pals loved to tease us about having the picture-perfect relationship, like we were living in a rom-com or something. Well, I was convinced we were like a rock, totally unshakable. You know how it goes, everything went totally haywire. Oh boy, let me tell you, it was a sight for sore eyes. Not exactly a masterpiece, if you catch my drift. So, picture this, about 3 months back, I started picking up on all those classic clues that scream, "Hey, something's fishy." Out of nowhere, she clammed up like a clam at high tide. I mean, we used to spill our guts to each other about everything under the sun, and now? Crickets. What gives? So, if she snagged her lunch, she'd totally give me a shout when she rolled back home from the daily grind. So, she waltzes in the door, and suddenly I'm as invisible as a ghost at a costume party. Seriously, it was like I was just a piece of furniture or something. Oh, and let's not forget about the phone usage, right? That little gadget was practically glued to our hands. So there I was, strutting into the room like I own the place, and what do I see? Her, glued to her phone like it was the last slice of pizza at a party. Seriously, she had this magical ability to vanish the moment I walked in, all thanks to her trusty little device. It was like a game of hide and seek, but I was definitely losing. And let me tell you, there were some mysterious no-shows that had everyone scratching their heads. So there she was, strutting in late from work, spinning some wild tale about how the office just couldn't survive without her brilliance after hours. Classic, right? So, picture this, one fine day, she just waltzed out of the house like she was on a mission, and guess what? No heads up for me. Classic, right? So there we were, just hanging out at home, and I decided to make a little trip upstairs for a moment. You know, just to see what kind of mischief I could get into. So, I traipsed back downstairs, and poof. She was gone, like a magician's assistant in a puff of smoke. Seriously, where do people even go? It's like she had a secret exit plan or something. So, there I was, dialing her number like a madman, 12 times, to be exact, before she finally decided to grace me with her presence on the other end. And what does she say? Oh, just that she went for a drive. Classic, right? So, she waltzes back in nearly 2 hours later, and when I casually ask where she's been, she shoots back with, "What are you, my prison warden?" Classic, right? Okay, so I'm not exactly winning any awards for this, but let me tell you, I totally lost my cool and raised my voice at her that day. Yikes, right? I said, "Hey, I'm not chaining you to the couch or anything, but I just need a little heads up on where you're at." So, I casually mentioned that I never step out of the house without giving her a heads up, either. You know, just keeping the communication lines open like a good neighbor should. It was all about keeping things crystal clear in our marriage, you know? No secrets, just good old honesty. She was all teary-eyed, claiming I was trying to pull the strings, but let me tell you, those waterworks weren't about to change my mind. I just wouldn't let it go, you know? I kept hammering home how crucial it was for us to know where each other was at all times. And trust me, I made it crystal clear that I wasn't about to let that little mishap happen again. Nope, not on my watch. Oh, I had that gut feeling she was pulling a fast one on me, you know? She definitely didn't just hop in the car for a 2-hour joyride to sort out her thoughts. First off, she was not a fan of driving at all. She wasn't exactly a pro at it, and let me tell you, it sometimes turned her into a bundle of nerves. Something about that story just didn't quite click, you know? Like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, just not happening. Well, that was the last nail in the coffin that made me think she was definitely up to something shady. Well, I wasn't about to just sit there and let her turn me into the village idiot, so I thought, time to put on my detective hat. I was ready to dig deep and, if necessary, give her the old heave-ho right out the door. So, picture this, she strolls in late from work, and I'm like, "Hold up. Hand over that phone." Her face was like an open book, and boy, did it spill the tea. For a split second, her eyes went all saucer-like, like she just spotted a ghost in the fridge. She threw on her clothes faster than a cat on a hot tin roof and put on a pretty convincing angry face, too. Bravo. Or maybe she was just fuming like a kettle on the verge of boiling over. Cheaters really have their own wacky code of ethics, don't they? It's like they've got a whole different playbook for life, and spoiler alert, it's not one you'd want to follow. So there she was, throwing her hands in the air like a dramatic movie star, claiming I always thought the worst of her. Cue the theatrics. She strutted through the house like she owned the place, flinging doors open and slamming them shut like a dramatic movie star on a mission. I kept my cool and said, "Hey, if everything's on the up and up, you won't have any trouble passing over that phone of yours." She claimed it was about way more than just that, like there was a whole epic saga behind it. So, there I was, knee-deep in the wild world of trust. You know, that elusive thing that everyone talks about but few actually understand? Yeah, that one. I didn't beat around the bush with her. If I stumbled upon some sneaky evidence of infidelity, I'd totally give her a shot to fix things up and keep our relationship from going down the drain. Well, if she decides to play hardball and keep that phone to herself, she might as well start planning her solo adventures because our marriage will be history faster than you can say divorce. Oh, no way was I about to hand her a do-over. Not a chance in the world. If I caught her even batting an eyelash at another guy, it would be game over, my friend. No second chances, just a dramatic exit stage left. So, I just dropped this little nugget on her, you know, just to sprinkle some false sense of security into her day, and guess what? It totally did the trick. The moment the words slipped out of my mouth, her eyes locked onto mine, and I could practically see the gears turning in her head. You know that look, like she's weighing the pros and cons of my brilliant idea? Classic. Well, I just zipped it after that. Not a peep from me. I just stood there, arms crossed, letting her dig her own hole with every word. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, entertaining and a little bit horrifying all at once. So there I was, standing there like a deer in headlights, as she passed me the phone. But wait. Just before she let it go, she threw me a curveball, asking if I was serious about trying to make things work. Talk about a plot twist. You betcha, I said. You know that moment when your blood starts to boil and you can practically feel the steam coming out of your ears? Yeah, I was already in that zone of fury. That question hit me like a ton of bricks, sealing the deal on our relationship's fate. It was like the final nail in the coffin, and boy, did it sting. So there I was, heart racing like a caffeinated squirrel, knowing I was about to dive into the digital rabbit hole of her phone. Confirmation was looming like a dark cloud, And I just knew I was about to stumble upon something that would make me wish I'd never hit that unlock button. Spoiler alert, it wasn't going to be pretty. She strolled off like she was in a dramatic movie scene, plopping down on the couch with her knees hugged tight to her chest and her head buried in her hands, probably contemplating the mysteries of the universe or just how to deal with that last slice of pizza she left in the fridge. She was just sitting there, popcorn in hand, eagerly anticipating the Big Bang. So there I was, standing at the crossroads of morality and curiosity, and let me tell you, I really didn't want to dive into her phone. But hey, sometimes life throws you a curveball, and you just know you've got to take the plunge, right? Choices. I just had to find out, you know? Curiosity was practically doing the cha-cha in my brain. Living a lie with her? Nah, not my style. I mean, who wants to be stuck in a sitcom where the plot just doesn't add up? Not me. So, there I was, playing the role of a digital detective, and I decided to unlock her phone and dive into the treasure trove of her messages. There he was, sitting pretty at the top of the world, like a king on his throne, surveying his kingdom with a smirk that said, "Yeah, I made it." Ethan, huh? Sounds like a guy with a story or two up his sleeve. What's the scoop on this fella? Just a few hours ago, she was hanging out with him like it was the most normal thing in the world. Time flies when you're having fun, right? I glanced her way, and I swear she must have read my mind because the next thing I knew, she was a waterfall of tears. Talk about a dramatic turn of events. So there she was, spilling the beans about how it was all just a fling, like it was no big deal. "Oh, it's only been 2 months," she said, as if that made it any less of a thing. Classic, right? I gave her the old shut your pie hole and dove back into my book like it was the last slice of pizza at a party. Well, let me tell you, it was a bit of a snooze fest. Not much to sift through, folks. Just a whole lot of nothing. So, picture this, they were all about those evening chats, right? I had a hunch she'd done some serious spring cleaning on the older messages, but lucky for me, she hadn't quite gotten around to tossing the ones from that day. And let me tell you, those little nuggets of conversation spilled enough tea for me to piece together the whole relationship puzzle. So, here's the scoop, she was in cahoots with the dude. So, picture this, they were like ships passing in the night, each cruising through their own departments. But every now and then, the stars aligned, and they had to team up for a little collaboration adventure. So, after a long day at the grind, she decided to swing by his place. And guess what? They ended up catching some Z's together. You know what that means. So, she waltzes in like she's just won the lottery and straight up tells me she's working late. I mean, come on. Who does she think she's fooling? She had her eyes glued to me like I was the main event at a circus, trying to decode my every move and reaction. It was like I was on a reality show, and she was the judge with a scorecard ready to go. So, there I was, just sitting in silence like a statue, not a peep escaping my lips for what felt like an eternity. You could practically hear the crickets chirping in the background. So, there I was, scrolling through my messages like a detective on a mission, and then I thought, why not text them to myself? Because, you know, that's totally normal, right? Just me, having a one-person conversation with my own phone. Classic. So there I was, all finished up, handing her phone back like a hot potato, and then I strolled over to the bedroom like I owned the place. So there I was, minding my own business, when she decided to play the role of the curious sidekick. She trailed behind me like a lost puppy and asked me to say something. I turned around, gave her my best dramatic pause, and said, "Pack your stuff and get out." Talk about a plot twist, right? She recoiled like I just delivered a surprise slap to the face. So there she was, going on and on about how I swore we'd give it another shot. Classic, right? She hit me with all the classic lines, you know, the ones where she claimed the affair was just a fling and that she was totally on the verge of dumping him. Classic, right? I told her, hey, none of that stuff matters. Well, she had already pulled the old damage card, hadn't she? Oh boy, here we go again. She's mad, and you can practically see the steam coming out of her ears. Buckle up, folks. So there I was, minding my own business, when she suddenly pointed a finger at me and shouted, "You're a liar." I mean, talk about a plot twist. Next thing I know, I'm being accused of manipulating her like some sort of puppet master. Can you believe it? No way was I about to let her pull a fast one on me. I was like, hold up. You are the one who started the whole lying game. So, there I was, minding my own business, when I found out she'd pulled a fast one on me, lying and cheating like it was an Olympic sport. Seriously, who knew heartbreak could come with such a dramatic plot twist? So, let me tell you, when it comes to our relationship drama, the blame game is all hers. Seriously, if there were awards for relationship mishaps, she'd be the reigning champion. She was all like, "Hey, you're just tossing away 5 years of marriage like yesterday's leftovers without even giving it a shot to fix things." Well, let me tell you, something about that really got my gears grinding. It was like she was playing a game of blame tag, and guess who it was? Yep, yours truly. I could practically hear the blame pinning itself to my back like a sticky note that just wouldn't come off. So, there I was, having a heart-to-heart with her, and I had to drop the bomb. "Hey, fixing what you broke? Not on my to-do list." So there I was, scratching my head, wondering if she'd strayed because she was just plain bored or maybe feeling a bit neglected, who knows. But instead of tackling the issue like a grown-up, she decided to hop into bed with someone else. Classic move, right? Oh, it was all on her, and trust me, I wasn't about to let her spin it any other way. Nope, not on my watch. We were like a couple of ping-pong balls, bouncing back and forth for what felt like an eternity. Don't worry, I won't put you to sleep with all the details. So, here's the scoop. She grabbed her bags faster than you can say family reunion and headed off to crash at her cousin's place. So, I decided to give my wife a ring and break the news that I was diving into the whole divorce thing. Ever since, my phone has been buzzing like a beehive on caffeine. Talk about a dramatic plot twist, right? So, guess what? Her cousin rang me up, all frantic like, saying she's been crying her eyes out like a soap opera star. They wanted me to be the wise sage and chat it out with her first. Talk about pressure, right? So, I had to let her know that during our last chat, she was basically a master of excuses for half the time and then turned into a blame-shifting ninja for the other half. Classic move, right? Oh boy, I'm counting down the days until she's officially a ghost in my life. Bye-bye, drama. Oh, please, save me the whole "I promise I'll turn over a new leaf" spiel. If I had a buck for every time that crossed my ears, I'd be rolling in it. Trust me, life's way more fun when you ditch the drama. Seriously, who needs that kind of chaos? Just kick it to the curb and enjoy the peace. Keep your chin up, my friend. Time for a little update, folks. In my last post, I mentioned I was counting down the days until she was officially out of my life. Can you believe it? So, here we are, folks. The big day has finally rolled around, but let me tell you, it's been one wild ride to get to this point. Well, surprise, surprise. My ex-wife turned out to be as trustworthy as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Who knew, right? So there I was, minding my own business, when my lawyer decided to play detective with our finances. He starts digging around, and lo and behold, he uncovers this little treasure trove of mystery. My wife had been sneaking out tiny sums from our joint account. I mean, we're talking about a heist that would make a squirrel look like a master thief. And let me tell you, those small amounts? They were adding up faster than I could say, "Where's my money?" So, he spills the tea that it seems like she's been stashing some cash like a little squirrel before the big D-Day. Sneaky, right? I wasn't about to underestimate her. I told her straight up, "I know you're stashing some cash for the divorce." So, my lawyer was all in and said he thought that was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to her secrets. Classic, right? So, he casually mentioned that he could totally bring in a pro to do some sleuthing and uncover all the juicy secrets she was keeping under wraps. Sure, it would put a dent in my wallet, but I wasn't about to let him go for it. If she thought she could pull a fast one on me, she'd be in for a world of regret. I mean, come on, stealing from me? That's like trying to swipe candy from a baby, only the baby has a mean right hook. That expert? Totally worth every single penny I shelled out for him. Seriously, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. He stumbled upon a treasure trove of secrets. So, picture this, she's sitting there, all calm and collected during the divorce, but little did anyone know, she's got a secret stash of cash tucked away like a squirrel hiding acorns for winter. Sneaky, right? Who knew divorce could come with a side of treasure hunting? To make matters even juicier, she'd been sneaking that cash away for ages, like, almost a whole year. Talk about a sneaky squirrel with a stash. Way before the whole divorce drama kicked off, it seemed like she had been plotting her escape for ages. Oh, you just know she had her sights set on making a grand escape with Ethan, right? Classic move. So, my lawyer casually dropped the bomb that she could totally take cash out of our joint account, no problem. But guess what? Not spilling the beans about her secret stash was going to come back and give her a good ol' kick in the rear. Classic move, right? So, not only did she swipe some marital goodies, But she also pulled a fast one in court by keeping it all under wraps. Classic move, right? The fallout? Oh, it would be a doozy. Oh, that's exactly the kind of news that makes my day. Seriously, it's like finding the last slice of pizza in the fridge, pure joy. I had to hold back the urge to do a little victory dance right in front of her and spill the beans that her grand scheme was about to go kaboom. Oh, you know that feeling when you just can't wait to drop a bombshell. Yeah, I was itching to break the news to her face to face. It was going to be epic. Turns out, watching her get the news in court was actually a blast. So there I was, sitting across from my lawyer, and when she started talking about her findings, her face went from pale to tomato red faster than a speeding bullet. It was like watching a live reaction video, and I couldn't help but chuckle a little. Who knew legal discussions could be so colorful? All eyes in the room were suddenly glued to her, and her lawyer was just standing there, mouth agape, like he'd just seen a unicorn. Seriously, it was a scene straight out of a movie. Well, guess what? She had a little treasure trove stashed away in there, too. So there she was, account frozen solid like a popsicle in the dead of winter, and let me tell you, her bank balance was looking as empty as a kid's candy bag after Halloween. You won't believe it, but the only way I found out is because she spilled the beans herself. So, picture this, one evening, my phone rings, and it's her on the other end, practically begging me to have a little chat with my lawyer. Apparently, her account was frozen, and she needed me to work some magic to get it unthawed. Classic, right? I was like, hey, what makes you think I'd pull a stunt like that? So, picture this, she's been sneaking cash out of the joint account like a ninja in the night, and then, to add a cherry on top, she's waltzing into court asking for half of what's still hanging around. Classic move, right? So there I was, minding my own business, when she decided to play the role of a not-so-great thief. And now, out of the blue, she's asking me to be her personal hype person? Talk about a plot twist. Seriously? No way. Then I unleashed another whopper for her. So, I casually dropped the bomb that I had a little chat with the bank, and guess what? The joint account is now as frozen as a popsicle in Antarctica. So, here we are, stuck in a financial limbo, twiddling our thumbs while the court plays judge and jury over our cash. It's like waiting for a slow cooker to finish, except instead of a delicious meal, we just get a big ol' question mark. So there she was, raising her voice like a banshee, accusing me of trying to pull a fast one on her. Can you believe it? She was adamant that it was totally against the law and declared she was going to have a little chat with the bank to get them to unfreeze it. You know, like a financial superhero swooping in to save the day. So, I dropped the bombshell that the bank was playing hardball and wouldn't unfreeze the account unless we both gave it the thumbs up to come back to life. With a chuckle, I reminded her that there was absolutely no reason for me to want the joint account back in action. So, picture this, I had my own stash of savings, all nice and legal, stamped and approved by the court. No shady business here, folks. Just me and my perfectly legit pile of cash. So, I had to gently remind her that giving her access to the joint account was like handing a raccoon the keys to the pantry. She'd been stealthily munching away at it for almost a year. Oh boy, it was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Things just kept spiraling downhill for her from that point on. Well, she really pulled a fast one on herself, didn't she? That little stunt left her wallet looking emptier than a kid's piggy bank after a candy binge. So, guess what? All that cash in our joint account? Yep, it's all mine now. And hold on to your hats, because a whopping 70% of that secret stash she had tucked away? You guessed it, also mine. Cha-ching. So, here's the deal, I was this close to snagging the whole pie, but her lawyer swooped in like a superhero, claiming that she had stashed away some of that cash all on her own. Classic, right? Honestly, I reckon what really got under her skin was the fact that alimony was a no-show. Talk about a plot twist, right? So, they gave it a shot and asked her, but guess what? She was busy with her own gig, and her sneaky little asset-hiding stunt pretty much knocked her out of the running for alimony. Oops. So, guess what? She got hit with a fine and had to cough up some of my legal fees too, specifically the cash I spent digging up the dirt on her little fraud scheme. Talk about a plot twist, right? So, there she was, shelling out cash for a financial whiz who was on a mission to hunt down her account like it was a treasure map. Who knew adulting could be so expensive, right? When the dust settled, she found herself in a bit of a pickle with her finances, like trying to squeeze into a pair of jeans 2 sizes too small. So there I was, minding my own business, when she just waltzed up to me like it was no big deal. Classic, right? So, Picture this, it's been a solid 2 months since the divorce papers were signed and sealed, and let me tell you, the dust is just starting to settle. She said she was really struggling to keep her head above water. So there she was, fresh out of a divorce that practically cleaned her out, and her cousin was starting to feel like he was hosting a never-ending reality show. Spoiler alert, he wasn't ready for the drama. So, there she was, casually dropping hints like they were breadcrumbs, and they got so obvious you could practically trip over them. Then, bam! Out of nowhere, she just asked flat out when she'd be getting her own place. Talk about cutting to the chase. So, my ex hits me up and drops this bombshell. She's totally lost hope in finding a new place because, rent is a thing. Apparently, all she needs is a smidge of time to get her life back on track. Classic, right? I was like, what's the question here? And she goes, oh, I just need a place to crash. I casually asked her if she'd misplaced the whole reason behind her divorce, like a set of car keys that just vanished into thin air. So, picture this, I was dead set against her crashing at my place. Not a chance, not even for a week. Nope, not happening. So, I casually dropped the bomb that she was officially a free woman now. I mean, if she was itching to shack up with Ethan, who was I to stop her? Go on, girl, find that cozy little nest if that's what you need. She totally played the dodgeball game with that one, and honestly, it felt like Ethan had ghosted out of the scene completely. I can totally picture Ethan just goofing around while she was all tied up, and the second she was free, poof. He was out of there, ready to commit to his next adventure. She was like a dog with a bone, trying to change my mind, but I was as stubborn as a mule. No way was I budging. So there I was, standing my ground like a rock, and what does she do? She pulls out the big guns, guilt. Classic move, right? It's like she thought, if I can't convince him, I'll just make him feel bad. So there I was, minding my own business, when she pointed a finger at me, claiming I was the mastermind behind her missing savings. Can you believe it? Me, the great savings thief. What a plot twist. So, have you caught on to her little game? She's like a pro at pointing fingers and playing the blame game with everyone else. That's definitely something I won't be shedding any tears over when she's gone. So, I gave her a little nudge and said, hey, remember the time you played hide and seek with the cord and stashed that account away? So, there I was, sitting on a little treasure chest of savings, but guess what? I didn't bother to stash them away like some secret pirate. Nope, they were just hanging out in plain sight, like a cat on a windowsill, soaking up the sun. Who needs a secret stash when you can have a front row seat to your own financial adventure, right? You won't believe this. She actually had the audacity to point the finger at me for a crime she pulled off. Can you imagine? Talk about a plot twist. Well, wouldn't you know it? She flat out refused to hear any logic and was convinced I had swiped her emergency stash right under her nose. She told me I had to give it back, like it was a lost puppy or something. So, I casually dropped the bomb that a court had officially handed me the prize, and I suggested she might want to have a little chat with her lawyer if she was itching to reclaim it. Just a friendly tip. Well, it might not help her at all, but hey, who doesn't love a good adventure? Go for it. After that little incident, she unleashed a whole buffet of nasty names my way. It was like a name-calling fiesta, and I was the guest of honor. So, picture this, she turns around and accuses me of financial abuse. I mean, come on. We're not even together anymore, and she's the one who was playing hide and seek with her cash. Talk about a plot twist. So there I was, minding my own business, when she decided to play the guilt trip game. I mean, come on. So, I did what any sane person would do, I told her to take a hike and cut her off. Bye-bye, drama. I've officially decided to hit the no contact button with her. It's time to ghost like a pro. So, here's the thing, I never really planned on keeping in touch, but let's be honest, I wasn't exactly going out of my way to dodge her either. It's like I was playing a game of social hide and seek, but I forgot to hide. So there I was, getting bombarded with messages from her, pointing fingers and laying the blame for her life's plot twists right at my doorstep. I realized it was time to hit the eject button and say goodbye for good. So, she's been ringing my phone like it's a game show and I'm the contestant who forgot to answer. A few calls have come through since then, and let me tell you, it's like she's trying to win a prize for persistence. So, I picked up the phone that one time and told her, hey, I'm not really interested in chatting again. And guess what? I've been dodging her calls like a pro ever since. So, picture this, I'm chilling, probably binge watching something ridiculous, when my doorbell camera decides to spill the tea. Turns out, she swung by the house once while I was MIA. But guess what? She hasn't graced us with her presence since. Classic, right? Honestly, I have no clue how her life's been rolling since that day, and you know what? I'm not exactly losing sleep over it. So, picture this, her cousin, probably in a fit of sibling rivalry, gives her the old boot. Now she's out on the streets, playing musical chairs with her living situation, trying to find a new place to crash. Classic, right? Well, that's a bummer, isn't it? She had it all, folks. The whole shebang. But then, in a plot twist worthy of a soap opera, she tossed it all aside for someone who turned out to be about as useful as a chocolate teapot when she hit rock bottom. Oh, I'm just peachy without her, thanks for asking. I'm living my best life, one day at a time, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. Who needs drama when you can have peace and quiet, am I right? So, picture this, I just hopped off the roller coaster of a 5-year marriage. Sure, there are a few bumps and bruises along the way, but hey, I'm pretty sure I'll land on my feet. No biggie. Thank goodness I figured out who she really was before it was too late. Can you imagine the drama? Phew. Oh, let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the sweet satisfaction of watching someone's grand plans go up in smoke right before your eyes, especially when they thought they could pull a fast one on you. It's like a live-action comedy show, and you've got front row seat. So, let me get this straight, you think you can stash your cash and just waltz away, huh? And then, out of the blue, she's ringing you up, all desperate and pleading for a lifeline after she tried to pull a fast one on you? Classic. Looks like the guilt trip game hit a dead end this time, huh? Honestly, the smartest move you made was giving her the old heave-ho. Bye-bye, drama. Guess what? You're no longer the backup plan or the safety net in her little game of life. You've officially leveled up. Well, she had her fun, and now she's stuck playing janitor to her own chaos. Go ahead and unleash your inner Shakespeare. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? Drama on, my friend. See you later, alligator. Ah, the classic tale of love gone wrong. We've all been there, right? So, spill the beans. What's the most eye-opening lesson you snagged from giving the old heave-ho to the toxic person in your life? Let's hear those juicy stories. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, we're all ears. Hey there, thanks a million for hopping on board with us today in our little corner of the universe. Hey there, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and give that notification bell a good old ding. You won't want to miss our next epic video adventure. Catch you later, alligator.